A vertical scan through the answer choices reveals a split between in which and where. Now these are relative pronouns. So we just need to check for the appropriate usage of the relative pronouns. Now many times we use the pronoun where a little inappropriately. For example, it might sound fine if I said, I had a dream where I was flying. But you see, where is a pronoun of place, a relative pronoun of place. But a dream is not a place. At least it's not a physical place, but a metaphorical place. A dream is an intangible location. So when you need a pronoun to refer back to an intangible situation, a metaphorical place, we need to use the pronoun in which. So the right way of saying this would be, I had a dream in which I was flying. So in which is used to refer to any kind of intangible locations like situations, circumstances, processes, etc. And in which can also be used to point to physical locations on the inside of something. For example, we can say the bottle in which the pickles are kept has been left open. So here the pickles are inside the bottle. So to point to that physical location on the inside, we use in which. So these are the two use cases for in which. Please keep that in mind. And if we take this use case to the answer choices, we can see that the noun in front of the pronoun is data interchange. Now, obviously, that is a process. So that means answer choices B and D go off. We cannot use where. Now, in the remaining answer choices, we can see that there are some construction changes. So we can see that in A, we have this rather than, and the rather than is connecting via computer rather than on paper. So this is a comparison aspect, that these transactions are handled via computer rather than on paper. So we can notice a perfect parallel construction here and perfect meaning as well, that these transactions are handled via this rather than on that. So we can hold on to answer choice A. But in C, we see that this logic is rewritten as computers handle these transactions instead of on paper. Now this instead of can be used in the same way as rather than on many occasions. But over here, what exactly is this instead of connecting? These transactions instead of on paper? So this is not a logical contrast at all. So saying that these computers handle these transactions instead of on paper is absolutely invalid. Now please don't make a false judgment because this sounds a bit off, but in place of is just another fancy way of saying instead of. But usually again, when such a contrast is made, we don't first of all need to put a comma here. We can just say, I will have tea in place of coffee. This sentence is the same as reading, I'll have tea instead of coffee. So as you can see here, there is no need for a comma in front like this. So that is one construction problem that I can point out. But on the other hand, when we compare the two remaining choices, A and E, we have this unnecessary word in the middle. And time and again, I've told you that answer choices containing being are usual red flags. But let's understand why this is a red flag here. You see, when we say that these transactions are handled via computer rather than on paper, this is using the simple present tense. But if we say that the transactions are being handled, then we are putting this in the present continuous tense. Now, the simple present tense is used to present general information of facts or talk about habitual actions. And the present continuous tense is just used to talk about an ongoing action in the current period of time. So when we compare the logic of the two choices, are we trying to present some general information here, or are we supposed to talk about an ongoing action in the present? So if you think about it, this is not meant to be an ongoing action in the present, but rather a piece of general information that the transactions are handled like this rather than like that. So the original sentence itself is just fine. A is your right answer.